So I thought I'd get outside for this. Since everyone's been inside, I thought I'd go up on my balcony, which I almost am never on. So it's the airport from here. Anyway, I guess since I'm from the US more recently, I'm fairly used to accessibility issues. My old school had people wheelchairs, we had a range of issues. Never really had any hearing impaired students in school, though I have had them at the college level. At the college level, one of the things that was that the university I taught at provided was a microphone. They amplified directly into the students' ears. So no one else really was even aware I was wearing it, though I did mention it. And when students came to present, I would simply hang it on their necks. So it was very seamless. I often had, at the university level, note takers for students. We had a pretty aggressive Office of Disability to handle those sorts of things. And so that was really easy because you would get a slip of paper telling you exactly what you had to do for the students to make all of your coursework accessible. Here, my building is not accessible for anyone who has physical challenges. Most of the issues that I deal with in my class day to day are learning support issues or ELL students. So that's why I'll focus on. I make a very conscious effort to make everything I do in my class accessible for children with learning difficulties of any sort. That goes to making sure that everything is visual as well as spoken and written. So the 3 levels, I never just explain things one way. I work individually with students. I try to establish methods of working for students that have ADHD, which is the most common learning disability I run into. Ways that those students can be engaged but yet take breaks. Most recently, I had sort of an interesting thing happen in class. I'm running the MATS test, which is a big standardized testing. In first grade, it is read to them. The whole test is audio driven, and our students wear headsets. One of the students could not understand the sound at all. No one had noticed they had trouble hearing things. He doesn't speak English very well, so that's probably why everyone just thought it was, well, he doesn't have English. But he could not understand what was being said to him on the headset. He was able to understand it when I spoke to him directly. So I think it was something about the way the sound was coming out the headsets. I was able to have our learning specialist administer the test to him in a room where she could either read it to him, or she actually unplugged the headset and he was able to understand it when the sound was projected over the computer speakers rather than the headset. I realized that one of the things I didn't say in the previous recording is that the student with a hearing problem is too young to read. So that is another issue with dealing with very young children with accessibility issues. You cannot always count on the range of skills that an older child can have. But this has been an interesting discussion. As a web designer, I've been, aware of some of the issues around web design for, since the beginning, alt text. Haven't been aware as much of the heading level, so that's sort of something new and something that I will be integrating in future websites that I design. Something else that I haven't really considered before in terms of my online courses that I teach, when I use videos, I don't have transcripts of them, and that is something I will look into, because if I did have students with disabilities, that would be an issue. I think my university handles it on their end, because when I have a student with a learning disability, there are, I get a form, and there are certain things I need to do with that student, like give them extra time for assignments, things like that.
There are supports there, but they are not things that I am doing. So I will look into that. As I've said, most of my background in accessibility is centered around learning disabilities, and that is something that I'm always very conscious of in terms of my courses.